Hello guys, so Ross Coulthart is really blasting the establishment on both sides of the aisle about the UFO cover-up, naming names, and also throwing into question the Schumer Rounds Amendment. Will it be included in the NDAA? Will the cover-up step in, as they seemingly are trying to do with the House Oversight Committee, and put the kibosh down on any future hearings in that subcommittee? Will they also step in and nix the Schumer Rounds Amendment from the NDAA? Well, Ross has got some comments about it, so let's talk about them. Get in here, this is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like, please subscribe, share on social media, and let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Okay, let's just get right into it. What does Ross have to say for himself on the latest episode of Need to Know?
Make a point about it, because I want to come back to this. I want people to be very aware of just how important this Schumer legislation is.
Yeah.
It has been conveyed to me by multiple sources now that if that Schumer legislation, the legislation that demands that both the defense and intelligence community and private aerospace reveal what they know about non-human intelligence or non-human intelligence technology, if that amendment doesn't go into the legislation at the end of this year, I'm told any form of public disclosure of what they know will be delayed by years.
That's not a good thought.
And this is what's going on. This is what's happening. And one of the problems, of course, with lobbying in the Congress, the way that it all works is you get some bloke in a uniform turning up to a senator's office, and it's all done behind closed doors. And, bottom line is, why are some of these senators going quiet? I mean, why has Senator Gillibrand, for all her talk, still not met with David Grush?
Okay.
Great question, Ross. Why? One thing we know about it is that Mike Turner is trying to put the kibosh on future U.A.P. hearings in the House Oversight Committee. And he did not intend for that information to get out, and he's not happy about it. It's kind of hilarious.
Mike Turner, who's a congressman from Ohio, he's made it very clear, apparently, behind the scenes, that he is very strongly of the view that there should be no further oversight committee hearings into the allegations raised by Mr. Grush, certainly not in public hearing. And I'm told there's a real blue underway to try and find out how this leaked, because Turner's angry that it's got out from within Congress that he has interceded. He doesn't want people to know that he's been actively involved in trying to stop the David Grush evidence from being further presented to Congress. And there's been, I think, instigated intercession by him to stop any further public hearings in the House. And so where we are at the moment is there's a big question mark about what's going to happen next. There's an enormous question mark over whether in September, when the House resumes, will the Senate, particularly will Senator Gillibrand and members of the Senate Select Committee for Intelligence, use one of their subcommittees to hold further hearings. And
well, we can certainly hope they do. Okay, so again, he's talking about Kirsten Gillibrand. Is she a sincere actor? Is she trying to actually get to the truth behind what is going on with the government's involvement in UFOs? Or has she been co-opted by that very cover-up? Well, Ross has some thoughts. Let's hear what he has to say.
I get the feeling she's saying one thing publicly, that, I care about this issue, it's important, we should have transparency, we should have accountability. But she keeps on buck-passing it back to AARO, the Pentagon's all-domain anomaly resolution office, which is about as effective as a wet piece of lettuce. And the bottom line is AARO still doesn't have a phone number, still doesn't have an email, no website. It's done one tweet. It's not doing its job. And I'm hearing from people who've gone to AARO, I've spoken to a number of people who've testified to AARO, that their relationship and the level of interest that they're getting from AARO has been deeply unsatisfying. Well, they're not getting the impression that this is being properly investigated. So you've got a key senator on the Senate Select Committee for Intelligence, Senator Gillibrand, who I'm afraid is making all the right noises publicly, saying she's interested in this issue and she's worried about transparency. I'm not seeing a genuine effort on her behalf, or indeed on behalf of other senators, key senators on that committee, genuinely moving to engage with this issue.
Ross goes on to suggest that the Inspector General Monheim needs to be testifying in one of these hearings. But how can he testify in a hearing if there are no hearings? Now, Diana Persolka, in the quote that I presented to you yesterday, said to expect to be shocked. Seemingly talking about the possibility of future hearings. And, I'm sure she has some great sources and she's not just making that up. So are there going to be future hearings? How much of this depends on the Schumer-Rounds amendment going forward? If they're able to kill the Schumer-Rounds amendment, and Ross is saying that is a possibility, might they also be able to kill future hearings? And is one dependent on the other? If they have the momentum and the strength to kill future U.A.P. hearings, that could give them also the leverage and the strength potentially to kill the Schumer-Rounds amendment. I'm still kind of have mixed feelings about the Schumer-Rounds amendment just because it seems like the establishment may be stepping in to steer the narrative and to establish this gatekeeping committee to filter what the public is allowed to know. But hey, at least they are willing to filter us stuff, right? It's better than the cover-up has been doing lo these many years. At least there would be like a steam valve, right? To release pressure. So I think that ultimately it would be better than nothing. Should we be complacent and just say, hey, it's better than nothing, so I guess it's a good thing? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Or potentially, is this Schumer-Rounds amendment, and the wording of this amendment is very robust. If it is a sincere effort to actually push the ball forward, it could be a huge game changer. I mean, they're trying to get actual materials, guys. I mean, the Congress is actually trying to seize UFOs that have been kept by the control group lo these many years, to actually get their hands on physical craft and even potentially biologics, the bodies of the pilots. So if the Schumer-Rounds amendment is interpreted as it was written, in the spirit in which it was written, it could be huge. It could be a huge, huge thing that could just blow the lid off the whole thing. So I am cautiously optimistic about the sincerity of the Schumer-Rounds amendment. We will just see, because as we're finding out right now, the powers that be are trying to step in and, tamp this thing down. Mike Turner is over there trying to quash any future hearings in the House Oversight Committee. Meanwhile, we have Ross Coulthart talking about Kirsten Gillibrand may have been co-opted by the control group. And if she has been co-opted by the control group, then it's very likely that Marco Rubio and others have as well. We know that Tim Burchett is really bummed out. I mean, in that last interview I shared with you last week, man, he is depressed. He is bummed out. Something has really got him down. And he knows more than we know. And he has reason, as he feels, to be very discouraged. Well, Ross Coulthart has blasted Kirsten Gillibrand and Mike Turner. He's blasting both sides of the aisle here. Are there any politicians that he likes? We know that he's mentioned Trump before. Look to Trump, he says. He didn't give us any details about that. But is there anybody else? Well, let's see.
Grush pointed this out to me just this morning, that Vivek Ramaswamy had actually tweeted very much in support of UFO disclosure.
Yes.
And he's made quite upfront pledges, basically saying that he thinks that there needs to be openness and transparency. And, well, how interesting and how refreshing to have a presidential candidate being prepared to speak candidly without embarrassment. This is what Vivek Ramaswamy said ahead of the House Oversight Committee hearings. He said, I'm calling on committee members to publicly ask witnesses the following 7 questions. We can handle the truth, he wrote. Has the US government become aware of actual evidence of ET or otherwise unexplained forms of intelligence? If so, when did this first occur? What are the names and titles of the people with direct first-hand knowledge of and access to the crash retrieval programs? Which facilities, material bases, how's recovered material? What special access programs cover this information, and how is it possible they've evaded oversight for so long? When did these programs begin and who authorized them? What level of security clearance is required to fully access these programs? Which private corporations are involved? Has there been an active US government disinformation program? All
Great questions, Vivek. I think the answer is yes, there has been an active disinformation campaign, and David Grush even spoke about that himself. So it looks like David is in support of Vivek. I don't know enough about him, but yeah, you know, we've had other candidates in the past, like Hillary Clinton, who openly talked about being the disclosure president. So it has come up before, but now we are actually seeing it on the debate stage. So I think that's very exciting. So I guess Ross, or at least David Grush, sees at least a little hope in the political landscape. But there you go. There's the latest from Ross Coulthart, blasting the establishment for trying to cover this up, actually naming names and calling people out, Mike Turner, Kirsten Gillibrand, and really putting the pressure on the Schumer rounds amendment and saying, hey guys, it may not happen. They may not include it in the NDAA. And that would be a disaster that could set ufology back, or UFO disclosure back, years, according to Ross. So, yeah, so we all need to be praying and hoping for the Schumer Rounds Amendment to be included and to get passed in a robust fashion. But let me know your thoughts about all of this in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video, give me a big thumbs up. Sure to appreciate it. Smash the subscribe button and the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media. There's Facebook and Twitter links below. I would love to see you guys there. If you wanted to support Cosmic Road in a bigger way, there's a PayPal button below, or you could become a channel member. Channel members are rock stars. I really appreciate your support. Thank you guys. Meanwhile, there's plenty of other videos to check out on the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.